Hey everybody, Joe here, back again with another show for you this happy Saturday. I hope it's happy for you anyway. The 17th of January 2026. So guys, it's happening. I said since the beginning of last year that you're not going to see a whole lot of action with legal stuff until this year. Early fall last year, and now it's this year, and we're seeing Tim Walz getting investigated and Jacob Frey getting investigated, and I assume sooner than later, Keith Ellison will be investigated for what I showed you on that one show there, probably like 2 shows back. But we've got a lot to get into today, so let's dig right in. We've got some big news on the Autopen front. We're going to take a look at this really quick, and I will show you exactly what I'm talking about. So here we have a truth from Trump. He says, everyone is asking me about the Autopen. What was done is totally illegal, and anything signed that way is of no further force or effect. Now, looking at this, it's interesting because if you look, he's putting quotations around this as though it's somebody saying it, like he's quoting somebody, which is weird. And the person who worked, quotes again, the Autopen had no idea whether or not Biden approved of what he was doing. So it's a he. That's obvious now. There was no order in writing, and it was an absolutely illegal act perpetrated by the radical left insurrectionists who illegally ran the Biden administration. Every one of them should be arrested for what they have done to our country. They didn't win the presidency, but when you think of it, neither did Joe Biden. The whole thing was rigged, and there must be a price to pay, and there's got to be a big one. And then he signs it, President Donald J. Trump. So that's interesting. I mean, he may have just, been saying this as like, this is what I'm saying, quote, because he also said worked in quotes as well. But we do know that it was a he, which means there's something happening behind the scenes that we don't know about. That's what this is. This is what, Trump likes to do these. This is a comm. I know that there's a lot of people that don't like to believe that, but it is. I mean, he's literally telling you the gender of the person that is responsible for running the Autopen right there in front of your face. So you can argue all day that that's, there's nothing going on. You can listen to the black pillars. You can eat black pills all day, but you're going to find out sooner than later that there's been something going on all along. Okay, so next, we've got a couple of videos I wanted to check out with you. Let's take a look at this one. This will probably not surprise you at all.
Start, though. Fox News Digital has obtained Labor Department records from the nation's largest teachers union. And those records show how the National Education Association funneled millions of dollars of your taxpayer cash to far-left political groups. Some that Fox News has previously been mentioning, and some which have stayed in the shadows. This is Outnumbered. I'm Harris Faulkner here with my co-host Emily Campagno. Also joining us today, Rosanna Scotto, Fox 5 news anchor and the host of The Underground Economy on Fox Nation. Cheryl Casoni, Fox business anchor and host of American Dream Home on Fox Business. And Josh Ritter, Fox News contributor, criminal defense attorney, and co-host of the weekly Rap Sheet on Fox Nation. Very busy man on this Friday afternoon. We're glad to have him. Well, Fox Digital is confirmed. The NEA's last fiscal year report showed it sent $300,000 to the 1630 Fund, a liberal dark money group Fox News has been reporting on extensively, and in most cases exclusively. I mean, the liberal media haven't touched it. Tens of thousands of dollars to the Tide Foundation Network, which has ties to anti-Israel protests and other far-left causes. One of the biggest checks the NEA cut was for $3.5 million to Educational International, a global teachers federation where the NEA president serves as a vice president. Oh, that's cozy. A nonpartisan watchdog told Fox News Digital, quote, "This is the upshot of social justice unionism." The NEA was also involved in several state issues. It backed a campaign to end standardized testing in Massachusetts and fight gerrymandering in Ohio, to the tune of $500,000 for each of those ventures.
So you've got these unions paying these groups that fight for Democrat causes. I'd be curious to know, if I'm not mistaken, isn't Ohio one of the states where the Republicans were like, nah, we're not going to do it? Or were they the one that did? I don't know. Maybe that was Indiana. I don't know. Anyway, there's so much happening in the news all the time, dude. I can't keep it straight. That's why I make these videos, to try to help you guys keep it straight, and then I can go back and look and see. But anyway, so you can see that they were fighting gerrymandering in Ohio because it would have made Ohio the way that it was supposed to be. And why would a teachers union care about Ohio being the way it's supposed to be as far as who's represented? If there's more Republicans in Ohio throughout the state, then that's how it should look, right? It shouldn't be a blue state because of gerrymandering that the Democrats did. It's just absolutely insane. And then these same unions are who pushes and drives what your kids learn in school. So if you don't like what they're learning in school, you can thank these places that are donating to these, I'm not even going to say far left, these leftist orgs.
And it sent hundreds of thousands of additional money to groups committed to racial and education justice movements. Outnumbered reached out to the union for comment. We're still waiting. In fact, maybe our watches have stopped, Emily, because they haven't done anything yet. Look, this is a lot of money. A lot of it we don't see. We don't know where it's going, and that's probably the biggest problem.
And what I see here, too, is so there's 3 million members, and we've had litigated in the courts the sort of difference between an association and a mandatory membership, and also those that are paying into it because...
That is that's interesting hair. It looks like she's wearing a hood. That's crazy.
They believe in the tenants. Now, normally union membership has direct application to the sort of the workability, the employment aspects of the particular individual. It doesn't have to do with social justice movements and a whole lot of political speak. And I wonder how many of those millions of members, including the ones that are members by, adjacency, how much they know about that. Do they know where their dues are going? And again, it's been litigated in the courts where people said, I don't want my money going there, actually. And they fought back. The unions fought back. Oh, no. You still have to pay us. You still have to be a member. This is absolutely frightening, because I'll bet you the amount of teachers that don't know where that money is going, the parents know even less. And to equate then the teachers' automatic association with end of standardized testing, gerrymandering, things like that, to the thought that your child's education, and more appropriately, the teacher in charge of it, the steward of your child while you are not with them in the public schools, that is where their association is going. That's where their influence and their persuasion, your hard-earned money. This is a travesty. But I think back to the Doge fallout and how upset people were, the audacity of auditing, the audacity of knowing where your tax dollars went. So I'm not holding my breath that there will be the uproar that this deserves, other than right here and those people who actually care where their money goes.
All right. I just wanted you to hear that because she made some good points, mostly because I wanted you to hear that, some teachers actually took them to court for doing this stuff and they fought back. So there you have it. They want you to be in the teachers union and all this and that. And then when you're in it, they take your funds and they donate to things that you probably don't even align with, to be honest. So yeah, absolutely insane. Not surprising by any stretch, but definitely insane. Of course, they came out and endorsed Kamala. We also found out that the teachers union in Chicago went down and visited, what's his name, Maduro, a bunch. I think it was Maduro. So that's absolutely crazy too. These are a bunch of far left, as people like to say. I'm just going to say Democrat communists. That's what we have as a party on that side now. And I guess if you want to be a teacher, you got to suck it up, and that's who you're going to be paying your dues to if you join the union. All right, so let's take a look at this one. This is Tom Homan. Take a listen to this.
But first, we go to Matt Finn. He's been on the ground in Minneapolis all week long and continuing his coverage today. Let's bring in Matt Finn.
Hi, Kaylee. There's a facility here that ICE is using as its headquarters, and protesters and agitators have been targeting agents there, launching fireworks at them, protesting as well. Well, yesterday, the Deputy United States Attorney General Todd Blanche went inside of that facility. He gave a pep talk to immigration agents. I talked to Mr. Blanche, and I asked him about Governor Walz and Mayor Fry encouraging people here to find opportunities to resist ICE.
When the governor or the mayor threaten our officers, when the mayor suggests that he's encouraging citizens to call 911 when they see ICE officers, that is very close to a federal crime.
The thing is that it should just be considered a federal crime. I think it is, because when he encourages people to go out, he knows these people are going to impede ICE, because they don't just take it at just recording 99% of them. So, and this is what I've been trying to explain, is that these people, they go right to that point with their rhetoric to where they know that they aren't breaking a law, but they're also sending that message out to their insane, SSRI influenced crazy people base. And they cut it just short of saying it. I mean, Tim Walz, he said that, he basically implied that Minnesota is having a civil war with the federal government, and we let that slide so far. Although he's under investigation for other things, so hopefully that pans out. So is Jacob Frey. But let's take a listen to the rest of this.
And sources tell Fox federal prosecutors are investigating both Governor Walz and Mayor Fry for allegedly impeding law enforcement efforts here. Mayor Fry says the probe is meant to intimidate him. Governor Walz says Trump is weaponizing the justice system, and it's an authoritarian tactic, adding...
Isn't it funny, the people that weaponize the justice system against Trump for, 4 years straight, plus, actually, going into his first term, now are big opponents to weaponizing the justice system, when really all that's happening is they're investigating claims and incidents and things that happened. They're not going to shop around for judges. They're just going to take it to whatever court they have to, and they're going to see how it goes. They don't do the shopping around like the left did for Trump all this time.
Quote, the only person not being investigated for the shooting of Renee Good is the federal agent who shot her. Now, clashes between agitators and law enforcement have been going strong, and now a federal judge appointed by Biden ruled that officers cannot use tear gas on protesters who are peacefully demonstrating. DHS Secretary Tricia McLaughlin says law enforcement are being attacked and using the minimum amount of necessary force to remain safe. Now, Deputy Attorney General Blanche told a room full of immigration agents and officials that President Trump is proud of their work. He will back them up, and that they do not have to do their jobs in fear.
There's this narrative on social media that they're going to get in trouble, that locals are going to go after them. That is bull.
And the latest number we have this morning from DHS, it tells us that 3,000 illegal migrants have now been arrested as a part of Operation Metro Surge here in Minnesota. Back to you, Kaylee.
Matt Finn, thank you. Well, could this be some of the language that sparked this DOJ investigation?
I have a message for ICE. To ICE, get the out of Minneapolis.
All across Minnesota, people are learning about opportunities, not just to resist, but to help people who are in danger. We will remain an island of decency, of justice, of community, of peace. And tonight I come before you simply to ask, don't let anyone take that away from us.
Let's bring in Border Czar Tom Homan. Tom, great to have you today. I'm not going to ask you about the DOJ investigation. That's the realm of DOJ. That's the realm of the law. But we know that the facts have to match the law in any given prosecution or investigation. You're on the ground. So going to the facts of the matter, what is happening on the ground? How is this language impeding your investigation and what we see, these protesters violently attacking ICE?
Well, look, people can certainly protest. They have that constitutional right. But rhetoric from the mayor and the governor emboldens that small percentage who go beyond protesting to criminal activity. They feel empowered to interfere, impede with ICE officers, put their hands on ICE officers, throw weapons, throw stones and frozen water bottles at ICE officers. I begged the politicians to stop with hateful rhetoric. I started way back in March saying if the hateful rhetoric doesn't decrease, there's going to be bloodshed, because there is that percentage of crazy people that just need to be empowered and feel, okay, well, if a mayor or a governor or a member of Congress, you know, compares ICE to racists and the secret police and murderers, which is the most recent attack on an ICE officer, they're going to feel emboldened to take illegal action. That's what's happening right there on the ground.
You know, my successor at the White House podium, Jen Psaki, name-checked you specifically, and she wants to hold you accountable. Listen to this, Tom Homan.
Control of the House. Are you going to remember?
sounds like the person in charge of the switch fell asleep for a sec.
Somewhere of Gregory Bovino and Tom Homan and all of these people, and are you going to is holding them to account at the top of your priority list?
Absolutely. It's going to be accountability. All of them are going to be investigated and hauled before Congress.
You know, when I hear that, Tom, I think about Laken Riley, and I think about Jocelyn Nungari, and I think about Rachel Morin, and I think about these young moms and girls who should still be here today, and that's who you're protecting. But they're more focused on you and holding you accountable.
Well, come get some. I mean, bottom line, we're just enforcing laws that Congress enacted. And for a member of Congress to say we're going to investigate officers for enforcing laws that we wrote, that's just ridiculous. So look, you know, bottom line is, we're going to keep doing what we're doing. We got the law behind us. And, you know, and the bottom line is we're making this country safe again. President Trump promised the American people we're going to enforce the immigration law. And that's probably one of the main reasons they reelected him, you know, by overwhelming majority. So bottom line is President Trump kept his promise. We got the most secure border in the history of the nation. We are running the biggest deportation operation this country's ever seen. And despite what the left says, about 70% of those we arrest are criminals. The other 30% are national security threats that don't have criminal histories. And there are people with final orders who had due process at great taxpayer expense or order removed, became fugitives. And yes, we're arresting illegal aliens when we're out there looking for criminals. You want less collateral arrest? Then let us in the damn jail. Try and Waltz could fix us today. Let us into jail so you can arrest a public safety threat in the safety and security of a jail rather than forcing us into the street to find these bad guys.
And we'll get into that in a minute here. I just want you to hear more Tom Homan, because who doesn't want to hear Tom Homan?
In the jail, I mean, that's a clear order. He could do that today. He could do that right now as we're speaking, and I hope he does. I pulled this up. This is a Washington Post report, and you've been at this a long time, Tom, including in the Obama years. And here's how the Washington Post used to talk about you. Meet the man the White House has honored for deporting illegal immigrants. The Obama White House cited Tom Homan's success expanding arrest and detention beds by following the Obama administration's directive to sharpen the focus of enforcement on criminals and foreigners who pose security threats. We executed the mission perfectly, Homan said. Has something changed, what you did in the Obama era versus now, or has the press changed?
The press has changed, and we got President Trump, who I think is one of the greatest presidents of my lifetime, and they hate Trump. They don't want to give President Trump a win, but you know what? He's winning every day. Again, most secure border in history of the nation. And if you look at the prioritization of illegal aliens arrested onto criminals, they're a higher percentage than were during Obama. So, you know, what has changed is the press. What has changed is the hatred for President Trump. He has shown the American people that they lied for the last 4 years when they showed they had a secure border and Congress needed to pass laws to secure that border. He proved that was a lie. He's proven every day that we're winning. And look, I'm proud to work for President Trump. The numbers speak for themselves. We got about 650,000, change that, almost 670,000 formal deportation that we put hands on deported between the CBP and ICE. Another 1.6, 1.7 self-deports was always a part of the plan. We knew if we would surge ICE resources across the country, that would send a strong message that people wouldn't spend their life savings, give it to criminal cartels and make that dangerous journey. What ICE is doing right now nationwide and in Minneapolis is one of the reasons we have the most secure border in history of the nation. President Trump, no one No one can match his success on the border and interior
No doubt.
enforcement and national security. His success is unprecedented.
No doubt. And final question, I just have a few moments, but in the New York Times interview President Trump did, he said, I would love to see comprehensive immigration. I'd love to see a plan that really worked for everyone. The reporter said, including a path to citizenship for those undocumented here. He said, possibly, possibly. Are these discussions underway, and would comprehensive immigration reform help you?
I'm not going to get ahead of the president on that, but I've had numerous discussions with the president. There's a lot of things on the table. The president wants to do the right thing. And I'll just leave it at that for now.
Thank you so much, Tom Homan. Continue your work.
Yeah, he better not do that. I'm just going to say that will be one thing that he does that I will not support. They came here illegally. They don't get a path to citizenship. I'm sorry. That's just not right. And I don't think that's going to happen at all. Okay, so let's take a look at this. I just wanted to show you this. This is what they're doing in, Pritzker's area of the woods. JB the Hutt is doing some silly shit. Let's take a listen.
With the governor's signature, nearly 2.2 million people are now eligible to have their criminal records sealed in what it hopes opens up opportunities for those looking for a second chance. It's official. The Clean Slate Act is law, which means law enforcement agencies are now required to automatically seal eligible criminal records every 6 months.
And that includes for illegals. And every 6 months, by the way, every 6 months. Theft, drug possession, disorderly conduct to protect illegal criminals, including MS-13 and TDA gang members from deportation. That's really what it comes down to.
Eliminating the need for individuals with prior convictions to navigate lengthy court procedures.
And this here is going to change my life completely.
Bernita Davenport McWhite says her criminal record has kept her from finding places to live, even though she's done her time.
I was able to find private landlord that was willing to sit down and have a conversation regarding my background to really get to know me.
Now she awaits getting her own record sealed as she continues to advocate for people like her, finding support from state leaders.
They deserve a track to run on. And the story of that humanity, the idea that people have to audition for their humanity has to stop.
The law does exclude convictions for sexual violence against minors, DUIs, reckless driving, cruelty to animals, and serious violent crimes, including anything that would qualify for sex offender registration. Still, the state believes the law will play a critical role on the economy.
This law will unlock $4.7 billion in lost wages. And this law reduces crime. Study after study tells.
Yeah, you can take your studies and shove them up your ass. What this is going to do is it's going to make it so that these criminals will just escalate their crime. That's what actually happens. We've seen it time and time again. Look at the guy that stabbed that poor girl on the subway. He just kept it escalating, and look where it wound up. You know what I'm saying? And this is exactly that. They're just going to hide my crimes? Well, I'll just keep committing crimes. Well, it's only these one crimes, but then we all know that the judges will let the guys out anyway, and it's just ridiculous, and it's mostly to protect illegals. So what this will do is it'll ensure that Trump will send in, or Holman and all them will send in the right guys to handle the illegal immigration issue there regardless. It won't matter if you have a record or not, just like it doesn't in sanctuary cities right now. You know, you've got states like Florida and so on. They're like, yeah, come on in, take a look, come get this guy. He's in the jail. Let's get him deported, blah, blah, blah. And then you've got states like that where, you know, they do anything they can to resist and impede. And at the end of the day, what ends up happening is they get rid of everybody, all illegals, which I'm, by the way, 100% positive I voted for that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I am sure that that's what I voted for. So anyway, also, I'm not even going to bother showing the article or anything. But Virginia, the new governor of Virginia, just made it so that police, first thing she did in office was make it so that police don't get to work with ICE. We've got this going on in Minnesota currently. Let's take a listen to absolute boss Bovino.
Anarchists, and I'm calling them anarchists now. These anarchists, these rioters, these bad people that wish to harm law enforcement are now harming American citizens. Those vehicles you mentioned that were vandalized, They've also, we've received reports, vandalized indiscriminately many vehicles in those hotel parking lots. They don't care if it's government vehicles and then they happen to get several vehicles of American citizens, innocent civilians, they don't care. And we're seeing that now. We're hearing reports from the police that that's happening, throwing nails out in parking lots where our government vehicles are not even located. They don't care. So these anarchists truly do not, they truly do not go towards federal law enforcement only. If you get wrapped up in this and you're mom and pop American, you get wrapped up and they even think you're law enforcement, then you're getting it also, and that's a big problem. I think that should probably wake some people up as to the depth and the scope of these anarchists.
All right, so I do apologize for that audio. I knew it was going to be that way when I hit play, so I cranked it up as high as I could get it. Now, obviously, as you know, that is just propaganda from Greg Bovino. That's what we're going to hear anyway. So, you know, grain of salt, that can't be true whatsoever. Except for the fact that it is true. Let's take a look at this. This is tech workers say they were here. Let me go ahead and bring the top down here. Tech workers say they were mistaken for ICE agents accosted by anti-ICE mob. Let's take a look at this right now, really quick here.
This is so cool. I mean, so cool as in like this has got to be the funniest thing I've ever seen. I know, it's like you feel like a zoo. I've never.
If you're not with us, then you're against us. So clear. So clear.
Oh my God. What? We do custom apps for a whole bunch of companies around Minnesota and the country.
Why are you filming us?
You see, so the people who claim that ICE is somehow breaking, you know, oh, they're the Nazis, they're just going around and asking people for papers. They're now going around and asking people for their papers. Very interesting turn of events that we've seen here. The actual fascists are showing that they're fascists, just like you're about to see here in a minute.
Do I look like an ICE agent?
Yeah, you look like a fucking ICE agent.
Holy fucking Christ. This is what's wrong with this guy's talk.
No, it's not. Because you have no relationship with us. Wait, so do you support? Would you support?
Support what?
Now they're asking, would you support ICE? So now that they've made it clear that they're not part of ICE, now they're asking, well, do you support ICE? None of your fucking business. You're a citizen retard. You don't get to know what I support and don't support. Get the fuck out of my face. This is why you should get your open carry license, because when these people get violent with you, you should blast them. I'm sorry, but that's true.
The way you guys are acting? Fuck no.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
The way you guys are, I don't support ICE either.
Then why do you care? Then you should say.
I'm just trying to enjoy my lunch.
If you're not with us, then you're against us.
Yeah. Get out of here.
And there it is, guys. So Bovino was telling the absolute truth, and it's worse than that. So what they're also doing apparently on the street is they're just running around attacking people who they think or are aware of the fact that they are right-wingers, right? You're not even allowed to exist if you're a right-winger. So here you go. Take a look at this.
Door.
Oh my God.
Drive. Oh my God. Just drive. Stop. Wait, let them go. Let them go.
I don't know who's in the driver's seat, but they're an idiot. You need to be driving. You're kicking the shit out of your buddy or your kid or your brother or whatever. Drive the car into that. That's what the gas pedal's for. Drive, dude. Do you see what I'm saying? Fuck these people. See, they're violent communist insurrectionists, you guys, and you're not safe if you're on the right there. You never were. This is how they are. This is how they were in 2020, 2017 through 2020. The fact that I feel like Trump needs to just do the Insurrection Act. Like, between hearing that he's possibly considering, amnesty, and he's also possibly not going to be sending in the National Guard or something, declaring the Insurrection Act, that's quite a disappointment. I'm going to be honest. I don't necessarily think that either. I think that he's going to do the Insurrection Act still. I think he should have done it already, granted, but I also don't think he's going to do the amnesty thing. But this is what we get told, so this is what we have to go on until we see it, right? So, absolute terrorists. And there you have it. So that's the type of things going on the ground in Minnesota, and that's not it either. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not a big fan of this guy whatsoever. I think he's just as bad in some cases as the left-wingers are with the way that they act towards ICE with the insightful language and stuff. I agree with his beliefs on Islam and everything, but he does kind of show up and he does over-the-top things like burning a Quran, which shouldn't be considered over-the-top, but you all know why it is, which he did today. And then this happened. Now, keep in mind, they're doing this because he utilizes his free speech that they don't like. And again, I'm going to point out that Andy No is using this language far left. It's not a far left mob. It's just, this is the left, guys. And just like Bovino just said, this is these same people attacking somebody for wearing a freedom hoodie. They're demanding he takes it off, and he's doing it. He's doing it because he's outnumbered. So you can't even wear a Charlie Kirk freedom shirt because they don't agree with that language. Freedom is not what they want. They want you to live in their fascist society where there's men in the bathroom with your little girls and wives whacking off like we saw in that one video. They want you to live in a society where Muslims are pretty much stealing all of your taxpayer dollars, and you get to fucking just be quiet about it because if you even ask questions, then you're a racist. That's what they want for you guys. They want their stupid pride shit hanging in every goddamn store window on everybody's shirt and everything, but you can't express your opinions. And that's the reason why Trump won. They're just ensuring that he continues to win. That is if the right stays awake and does what they're supposed to do this year. Now they're demanding that he drops it. They're so proud of being fascists. So, yeah, that happened. And then this one right here, they just assume, this says wild, they just assume everyone is ICE.
Where you going? Huh? Are you ICE? No. Do you like ICE? Say fuck ICE! Say it!
He seems rational and sane.
You're a bitch. Your mom's a bitch. Say it! Fuck you!
This is what the Democrats' programming has done to these people, though. This is not normal behavior, but this is what they've done with their rhetoric for over a year, for well over a year, for pushing 10 years on ICE. So here we are, guys. Here we are.
You Nazi! Fuck you, Nazi! Fuck you, Nazi! Where you going?
All right. So, and then we've got this. This is coming out of Virginia, where the governor, as I told you, just said, you know, cops aren't going to be working with ICE. Take a look at this. This is a Hispanic cop. I don't know whether he's here legally or illegally. Sheriff Jose Quiroz of Arlington County, Virginia. And he's demanding that ICE get out of his community.
I'm Jose Quiroz. I'm the sheriff of Arlington County, Virginia. And I was here all day to speak out against the actions of ICE in our community.
This is why you shouldn't allow these people to be in any like a position of power. They will destroy. They will destroy. This dude is destroying. He's trying to destroy. He doesn't want illegals deported. I wonder why. Is there a particular reason?
Well, I want people to know that there's law enforcement that keep our community safe and do things a certain way so that everybody's safe. But then there's a way of doing things that put people at risk. And this, you know, take away the trust that we have with the community. I would like to see our law enforcement treat our community with respect and keeping our community safe so that people...
You deserve no respect. You don't even deserve that badge. In fact, you should probably be deported back to whatever country your family originated from, whether you're born here or not. You should probably be denaturalized and shipped out. That's about where I'm at with all this bullshit.
Can live safely. Thank you.
All right, and then we've got this. This is from 0 Hour. He says, leftists stab someone in the neck and head in Minnesota. There's the guy. Then we've got this right here from Commander at Large, Greg Bovino. He says, only you thought the violence would stop the mission. In the land of 10,000 lakes, agitators threw objects, assaulted officers, and rammed our vehicles trying to disrupt enforcement. They screamed, interfered, they escalated, but enforcement didn't pause. We will continue enforcing the law, making arrests, and keeping Minneapolis safe. And he says, undeterred, unapologetic, and he just shows how they are. I muted it because I'll get a strike on here. I don't think it's held against you, strike. They mute it anyway, so I'll just mute the volume. He's just showing what they've had to deal with down on the ground with these crazy lunatics. This is like watching a zombie movie, like a zombie apocalypse movie, if I'm being honest. So then we've got this going on as well. Down here, this is coming from Kim Katie USA. This will be the last thing I show you. I mean, I got so many tabs of this stuff saved right now. I've already gone for almost 40 minutes, and I'm nowhere near through all of them. But you get the gist. Here, take a look at this. This is insane. Minneapolis, terrorist beat an ICE supporter over the head with a flagpole, blood pouring. Watch this. She points out that police stand there and watch him bleed. The police are just watching.
This guy needs medical help. He needs mental help. Mental help.
Okay, so I think this is the same guy that 0 Hour thought was stabbed. I don't know where he got that from, but you can clearly see he got hit in the head with that flagpole. And I think the flagpole actually had like the decoration on the end, like the star or the eagle or whatever.
The bleeding is natural from Nazi's ears, but he needs mental help.
See, cops just looking like, yeah, okay, cool, whatever. That dude needs to lose his badge. So there you have it. That is what's going on the ground in Minneapolis, and apparently we're just going to let that keep happening, I guess. I don't know. You can't even walk around without being harassed by these insane communist Nazi types, fascists. or use free speech, apparently, that they don't like. So there you have it, guys. That is what we're looking at in Minneapolis. Virginia is about to look about the same. So if you live there, get ready, because now ICE is going to have to get down on the ground like they did here. And you know that the Democrats are going to ship their paramilitary wings there as well once that starts. Anyway, guys, that's what I got for you this Saturday. I hope you enjoy the rest of your evening, and y'all have a great weekend, and I'll talk to you very, very soon.